This is DZR in JWP, a discussion of topics about Danzanryu Jujutsu using the JWP Japanese word processor. I'm your host, Professor George Arrington. In this video, we're going to continue talking about Yawara, the first set of techniques that Professor Okazaki included in his system, and we're going to be looking at techniques numbers 10 through 15. So let's get started. Okay. Again, as I said in other videos, Professor Okazaki used the hiragana Yawara for his board, rather than using this kanji, which is the kanji Ju, which is also pronounced Yawara, meaning jujutsu. He didn't want the board to be called Ju. He wanted the board to be called Yawara, the older name of jujutsu. Anyway, let's continue on with our techniques. So here are the next 5 techniques. Techniques number 10 through 15. So let's look at the first one. The first one we've seen already all of the parts of this one before. The O with the elongated O sound, meaning both. And we can confirm that with Control I and see that it means both. Te, which means hand. So together that means both hands. And then tori, which means to seize or snatch or catch. And as I said in the previous videos, sometimes Professor Okazaki used this character that you see there for tori, and sometimes he used this one for tori, and they both mean exactly the same thing. Okay, so just 2 different characters meaning the same thing. And we use the ri hiragana here to indicate that this verb toru is now a noun, tori. Okay, so let's continue on. All right, now we see a term that we hadn't seen before, and that's tekubi. So I'm going to go ahead and type in tekubi. And the way I do that in JWP is hold down the shift key, hit the first letter, T, release the shift key, and then write the rest of the word. And so E-K-U-B-I. And I'll hit the space key, and notice that it's actually 2 words, te and kubi. Now together, since I have them both selected, let me go up to the dictionary, click on that, and notice that it says wrist. It's a noun, and it says wrist, te kubi, te kubi. All right, and individually, they mean, this one, as we saw before, means hand, and kubi by itself means neck. So the neck of the hand or the wrist. Okay? So tekubi means wrist. And later in another video we'll look at another term for wrist that uses different kanji. But for this one we use tekubi. Alright. And the rest of this is now tori. Tori, which we saw in the previous one, and ichi. Okay? And that means 1. That means 1. All right, so there we go. We have ryote tori, and let me just, for completeness, ryote tori. I did this in the previous videos. Let me write out the hiragana above so you can see both. And tekubi tori ichi. Okay, so there's tekubi tori ichi. All right. Now the next technique is tekubi tori ni. And so I'm going to be lazy, and I'm going to select these two lines, go up and copy them, go down to the next line, and do a paste, like that, and then just modify these two lines. This one would be ni, and now to find this kanji, we go hold the shift key, hit N, release the shift key, hit I, hit the space bar, and that gives us the character for ni, which means 2. Okay? So there you go. So those are the techniques. And throughout these videos, we're not going to talk too much about the actual execution of the techniques. We will a little bit. I mean, this one is a two-handed wrist flex, or wrist twist, however you want to call that. And then this is these two, depending on the school you come from, these are two different types of wrist twists. One from an outside wrist grab, and the tekubitori knee is from a cross wrist grab. Although I have seen them done in the reverse order. I think that the majority of people do them with ichi being an outside wrist grab and knee being a cross wrist grab. Okay, so let's go on to the next technique here. All right, iman tori. Iman tori. So I have iman tori. There you go. And so if we write out iman, so iman, what do we get? Well, we get that. And what does that mean? Well, if we go to the dictionary and click on that, it means condolences or sympathy call. Okay? So this is not what we're looking for. And how do we know it's not what we're looking for? Well, if you go simply from the English and try to go to the Japanese, it's all but impossible unless you know what you're looking for to do this reverse engineering task of going from the English or the romanization of the Japanese to the Japanese kanji. Almost impossible. Lots and lots of problems occur when you try to do that. So you really need to know what you're looking for before you do it. And fortunately, in this particular case, we have the kanji that Professor Okazaki used. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my, I'm going to go off the screen here, and I'm going to pull in a graphic that comes out of my 1992 Yawara book that shows the kanji that were used by Professor Okazaki for iman tori. So that's the actual. This is from the actual scroll. This right here is iman tori. Okay. So those are the characters that we're looking for. And how you find those characters? Well, there's lots of different ways to do that. I'm going to pull this out of the frame and come over here, and we're going to take a look at how we might find that. Well, the E, if we try to just do the E by itself, that's not going to work because it's going to think we're talking about the katakana E. Alrighty? So if we go E by itself like this, select it, and do a kanji convert, it's going to give us a whole bunch of different characters. And the one that we are looking for, and I'll pull that graphic back in place, is this one right here. This one right here. And I don't know if I can move this out of the way enough for you to see, but that one right there is the kanji that we want for that one right there. Okay, let me move this out of the way. And so I'm going to select that, and there we go. So that is the E. And we can confirm that by going Control-I, and it says garment or clothing. And notice it says here E or E. So sometimes you see it written as iman, and sometimes you see it written as emon, and both are actually correct. Okay? So that's that character. Now the second character, if you let me pull that graphic back into place here. Okay. And that's this character right here. All right, that's that character right there. So let me pull that out of the way, and that's for mon. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna type in mon and see what we get. Okay, so there's the mon, which is like a gate, but we want something that looks like, pull it back into place, something that looks like that. Okay, and the one that appears to be correct for that is this one right here. This one right here. Okay, so move that out of the way. Click on that, and so we have those characters. And I'm not sure if the dictionary has that included in it. Let's just double check. And in fact, it does have that. It says clothes or drapery and some other things there. But by themselves, those two characters are dress or clothes or drapery. Okay, kind of interesting. And and by themselves, that means clothing. And that one right there means the family crest or the figures. So the family crest on most of the old Japanese kimono are in three places on the kimono. One in the center of the back, and one on each side of the breast of the kimono. So that's where we're pushing. So that's one way to think about that. Okay. So, but basically this together means the clothing seizure. Okay, when we say tori. Alrighty, so that's an interesting thing, especially when you're using JWP, that you may not get exactly the answer you want unless you have some context from the kanji. And later on we'll find that can become a major roadblock for understanding. Okay, so let's go to the last one here, and that's ryori tori. And we've seen all of the elements of this in previous videos. Ryo. Oops, let me back up one step there. Right after hiragana first. Ryo. Eri. Tori. And now let me type in the kanji. Ryo. Eri. And that means lapel or collar. And tori. Okay. And there's that. Alrighty, so that's techniques 10 through 15, and I hope that was excuse me, 11 through 15. Techniques 11 through 15, and I hope that was interesting. So we'll see you on the next video.